Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Our Ventura. I'm your host, Joshua Lane, and today our guest is Annie Gabriel, a Lyme disease awareness activist who is a resident of Ventura, an actor and writer who unfortunately contracted Lyme disease and became very ill. Our guest today, Annie Gabriel.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for having me
today.
on the show.
My pleasure. So Annie, what is Lyme disease?
Well, Lyme, spelled L-Y-M-E, is a systemic bacterial infection that proves quite deadly. It's caused from, it used to be only tick bites, but now it's full spectrum. Fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, spiders. Some of those vector-borne issues can transmit the disease to humans. And you can only get it by being bitten by an insect.
Does that actually occur here in California?
Oh, absolutely. Contrary to public belief, the thing you'll hear a lot is, oh, there's no Lyme disease in California. Nothing gets my goat more than that, because that's where I got it, and that's where most of the people that I've been dealing with for the past 20 years have gotten it. And
you mean like you were playing tennis and got bit, or you were hiking and got bit?
Walking your dog,
walking the dog,
anything, you can get bitten.
So it can happen in the suburbs?
Oh, yes.
I see.
As a matter of fact, one of my things that I talk about when I give lectures is the more beautiful and pastoral the setting your home is on, the higher the incidence of you actually getting bitten and contracting Lyme disease. Lyme disease, the first real cases of this started back east in the 70s. And the first town that was affected is Old Lyme, Connecticut, L-Y-M-E. That's where the name came from.
I see. Oh.
The whole town was affected. It was infants to seniors, and everyone in between all of a sudden developed these symptoms.
What are the symptoms?
They vary person to person, but sometimes they attack the neurological system. Sometimes they'll attack the muscular. They will go systemic. You know, it's a spirochete. A spirochete is a corkscrew bacterium exclusive to Lyme disease and to something else, syphilis. It makes no sense, but those are the two main diseases that have spirochetes.
Okay, so in other words, a person would be out walking their dog and they get bit, and it hurts right away, or no?
See, that's the thing. A lot of times the people are taught, oh, you'll have a bullseye rash if it's indeed Lyme disease. Well, if you're lucky enough to have a bullseye rash, you're lucky. A doctor will know, people will believe you, they'll give you antibiotics right away.
Right.
I would say a very small percentage of people that actually get bitten and have it actually develop the bullseye rash. That's part one of the problem. Part two, the erroneous information being taught in medical school curriculums. If you're lucky enough to be schooled on the East Coast, you'll get a good fill of Lyme disease education. If you are
correct information.
Correct.
So in other words, now this illness cropped up in Connecticut about 25 years ago?
Oh, 40.
40 years ago.
It's taken 40 years for it to migrate from the East Coast all the way across. There are reported cases in every single state in the union now. What comes from, it's the bacterium. And there are also co-infections. Nowadays, you don't just have Lyme disease. There are co-infections, babesiosis, ehrlichiosis, Bartonella, even a Rocky Mountain spotted fever. These are the things being transmitted by the bugs that bite the people. And not everyone who gets bitten will develop the disease, but on the other hand, a lot of people who actually have the disease internally or the beginnings of it may not manifest anything because it's dormant. Now, get in a car accident, all bets are off. It will challenge the immune system, internal bleeding, damage, even something, surgery, even dental work may trigger something to come out of dormancy inside your body and start manufacturing.
Now, so in other words, is this your story? You feel you got Lyme disease, and then you had a terrible car accident?
Oh yes, yeah. I got bitten. I got bitten in Ventura County, and then I also got bitten in Hollywood. We were walking our dogs, in the Hollywood Hills. I was in the entertainment industry.
Right.
Some years back.
You would work with Quentin Tarantino, did you not?
Well, we. When I was walking, I'll get back to that later, but when we were walking our dogs, we got bitten. And it was, we started the first group in the 90s. TV and film.
My question then is, how long have you actually had Lyme's disease?
Oh, it took me 12 years to get a diagnosis.
Oh, wow.
And that was 8 years ago.
Okay.
So it's 20 years.
You had 20 years.
I've outlived pretty much most of the people that I have been, with this disease, dealing with this disease. And the reason why I'm passionate about this, I've seen the white light. I've almost died from this disease several times in a coma, my will made out. Sometimes it just takes over and it just sweeps through your system and you're a goner. I just wasn't going to let a bug bite take me out like that. So I promised God that if I found a way to for wellness, or even remission, or to have some sort of life again, I promised that I would spend the rest of my life doing advocacy, helping people, researching, writing, lecturing, and that's pretty much what I do. That's my humanitarian side of my life.
As so many of your friends and acquaintances who had Lyme disease have passed away, what protocol are you following that you feel has been successful, that has helped you?
Well, my other nickname is the human guinea pig, and I literally have become a human guinea pig over the years. Like I said, it took 12 years to get a diagnosis.
Now at first, what was when you didn't feel well and you went to the MD, what did they say about you?
Early menopause, anxiety, post-divorce anxiety, whatever they could chalk it up to.
Right.
And
that kind of annoyed you? You didn't feel that was the answer?
It was insulting, to say the least.
It's insulting, right.
Right. There's something wrong.
Right.
You're displaying all these high levels of bacterial infections throughout your body.
Were they doing blood work for you?
Yes.
And they would see it in blood work, and they still said it was depression?
Exactly, only because there still is no definitive test. The test that a person will go, say you were bitten by a tick,
right.
Walking your dog, you find a tick, you don't know how long it's been on you, you don't want to take any chances, so you go to your doctor. Hi, can you please do a Lyme test? Well, they do the Lyme test, and that's all well and good, but the things that are readily available to the general public are pretty much, I'd say 50, 60% false negative. So you'll take the test, it'll say you don't have it because the tests are erroneous. In reality, you do have it. So another year goes by, and as this year goes by and no doctors are believing you, the symptoms are manifesting in different organs of the body. It's co-infecting, it's mutating, and before you know it, it's hit your spinal cord, your organs, your brain. The things that important to know that people are misdiagnosed with, as a general rule, sad to say, MS, Parkinson's, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, early Alzheimer's. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
So physicians, are they giving you the wrong test initially?
Well, there is no definitive test yet.
Even now?
Even now, there is a test called the PCR of DNA. Mm-hmm. Well, at the time I got it, it was $1,200 out of pocket.
Oh, I see.
But I was so frustrated and so sick of being thrown around like, just relegated from here, there, and everywhere because no one believed me. I actually sold things. I sold my place. I sold pretty much everything I had and decided to go on a mission, a fact-finding mission as a human guinea pig. I would go to clinics. I went to over 30 doctors, 4 different states over the course of those 12 years and documented every single thing that I did like a big nerd. And I thought, this is going to help somebody someday. And during the course of this, of course, I came to near death many, many times, came out of it with renewed passion to do even more. So I tried everything did everything, went everywhere, documented everything, and my mom was my ally. Thank God for one person that believed me, stuck with me, loved me enough to let me do my research and the work and the experimentation. So I can't thank her enough.
So what are some of the things that you are doing that you think are successful? Whether or not other people say it might be controversial, or what are you doing that you think this has merit?
I call it my layman's wellness protocol.
Sure.
Because I'm not a doctor.
Right.
So far infrared sauna has become the number one modality for this disease.
Would you repeat that once again?
Far infrared sauna.
And what's that exactly?
Now that's a different kind of sauna than a person would be used to, like a sauna at the gym or a health spa. They're really swelteringly hot and they're intolerable.
Right.
But they do help you to sweat.
Right.
What you're doing is depleting your own resources and nutrients and electrolytes.
Right.
What a far infrared technology sauna does, which are they've been around for a while, but they've been fine-tuned lately.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, they're actually being touted by Lyme literate doctors, including Dr. Oz. He actually had one on his show. And this is really getting results because it's the only thing capable of going deep into all the organs in your body. It's non-invasive, it's not sweltering, you don't want to jump out. And by the time you're done, it's not only burned 600 calories, but it's also detoxed, starting the detox for a lot of the toxins that have built up over the years. One, all the medication that people have to be on. I'd say the protocol that begins with the MDs. It's antibiotics, of course, long-term, but some of them are IV.
What do you mean long-term? How long?
Well, that's the controversy in the Lyme world now. Doctors' licenses are being yanked because they're being accused of over-diagnosing Lyme disease. How can you help it if people have it and it's an epidemic in the making? See the bracelet, find the cure. This is a hidden epidemic.
Okay, so have you been on antibiotics continually for 12 years?
Well, I was on IV PICC line, where they actually put it in your heart permanently, and a nurse comes and fills up the bags a couple times a week. I did that for several years.
You did several years of intravenous antibiotics?
Yes,
now,
which is chemo-like.
Now, is there not a downside to that?
Oh, absolutely.
What
My
is the
immune
downside?
system was trashed.
From the antibiotics?
Yes.
Right.
Systemic candidiasis,
Right.
which is...
From the antibiotics?
That's why I'm heavy now.
Right.
And that's a side effect.
That's right. Yes, it is.
From long-term antibiotics. That's controversial. A lot of doctors, the protocol by the mainstream non-Lyme literate world is 3 weeks antibiotics. Oh, you're done. That is the most ridiculous statement a person can make. I don't care where you're from.
It's based on a lack of information?
Exactly. And at first I was really furious at the doctors that were, saying go see a psychiatrist or it's menopause. Right. But then when I started doing research and my mind was clear and I was starting support groups and lecturing and, doing all the stuff I do, and, I did a lot of this from a wheelchair when I was doing it. And a lot of times the belief system isn't in place yet, but there was something there that said, let's try this. Let's do this. Let's see if this works. So I would say far infrared sauna, greens juicing, with no sugars, no fruits or anything, just straight greens. Right. The pure diet that we discussed at some point, nutritionally, with the brown rice, the green vegetables, a lot of. If you can be vegetarian, that would be great. Some fish, things like that. Just a pure diet, no sugar.
Are you still taking a lot of antibiotics now?
No, I'm not. Once I started doing the nutritional attack mixed with the far infrared sauna, I've come off all antibiotics.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and a lot of people are still on them for years and years. And
Annie, this is remarkable, and we should have you back on as a guest. How can people contact you now?
Just my email would be fine. It's LymeDiseaseCoach@AOL.com, and that's spelled Lyme. Yeah. And the name of my book is called From Limelight to Lyme Hell and Back.
It's an apt title, and so you will do lectures and advise people here in the Ventura area and also in Southern California?
Oh, sure. I do Lyme literate health coaching, and I'm here to help.
Thank you. Annie Gabriel, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in to this edition of OurVentura. Our guest today has been Annie Gabriel. Thank you. Good night.